Got the essays in the back, you know what I'm saying? Trying to get home at the end of the day, you feel me? What's up, chat? So, I'm gonna try to do this take on a YouTube video real quick. I get this question a lot, all the time, about what's the best starter bike? What's the best bike to start on for a new beginner? Or what's the best beginner bike? And da-da-da-da-da, and blah, 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 blah. Basically, it's a complicated answer. And I say it's a complicated answer is because it really comes down to how much driving experience do you have. And I know that sounds a little weird, just because like you're like, what does driving have to do with it? But like, besides like basic road laws and knowing how traffic flows and how people in your area drive and stuff like that, it's really going to come down to like, if you're under 18, first of all, you don't have enough experience to be able to ride anything past a 500 realistically. You're still learning how to ride, and you're still young, and you're still making a lot of dumb decisions. Trust me, I know, because I did. If you're under 18, stuff like that, just start with something small. If you're an average 9 to 5 commuter, you haven't really driven fast cars or anything, and you don't push your car or anything at all like that, then basically I think you should start on something smaller too, just because you don't know anything about, you know, pushing the car, pushing limits, you know, race line, brake theory, things like that. And so I think that's why it's another one that should be starting on a starter bike, on a beginner bike, a 300, a 400, a 500, right? And maybe an R7, something like that, but it's really hard to tell. Versus like somebody like me, or like that was a car guy first, and always liked bikes and things like that. I've driven the piss out of my cars. I've built cars. I've done mountain runs. I've gone to drift events. And I've drifted and all that stuff. I know how to handle a car very well. I could jump in any vehicle, and within a couple minutes of driving it, I basically know about 90% of the limits and how far and how hard I can push the thing. So with that being said, somebody like that, I would say it's okay to start on a 600, which is what I did. I got my dream bike, a 600, and I love it. You know, there's obviously a learning curve like anything else. You be patient. You learn how to control the bike, how everything works, how it handles, and you slowly work your way into it, and you'll be fine. It's really not as fast as people. I mean, it's fast as fuck, but it's not. If you're going from a car, like driving fast as hell, you're gonna translate over very well. Now, if you're somebody that has like tons of like good dirt bike experience and maybe mountain biking, which I had some mountain biking, you know, stuff like that. I grew up around bikes and motorcycles and things like that. Honestly, like a 1000 isn't out of the question. I don't like to say that a 1000 is a good starter bike because it is a lot to bite on. I mean, I've ridden the S1K, and I handled it right, obviously. I mean, but it is a lot to bite on, you know, and you don't want to bite off more than you can chew. Damn, got his ass. Let me slow the fuck down before I get caught up with like speed trap over here. But yeah, guys, like all in all, like a 600 isn't all that, you know what I mean? It's honestly, at least for the R6, from 0 to 10,000, it's really not like anything crazy. It kind of rides like a 400. Honestly, like it's not anything crazy. It's after 10,000, 12,000 RPMs where the thing really starts to pick up. and that's where like all of your practice with like, you know, low speed maneuvering and stuff like that's going to come in. You know, making sure your elbows are relaxed, making sure you have good posture, you know what I mean? Not you know, fucking death choking the fucking throttle. But you know, like, as long as you work on that stuff, you'll be alright. And like my biggest thing with anything else is don't push your limits too soon and too fast. You know what I mean? Pushing your limits in the car is already dangerous enough as it is. It's already dangerous enough as it is, you know, but you have a much higher likability of surviving versus being on a bike, right? I mean, this thing will kill you at 30 miles an hour, right? Like, that's not even anything crazy. So, now go, you know, triple, quadruple that, it's wraps. So, basically, like anything else, man, just work your way into it. Don't push limits too hard, too fast, and you'll be okay. This thing fucking goes. Everybody knows this is a staple bike. The R6 is a staple bike for motorcycles. I think everybody at some point seen an R6 and liked it at some point. You know, maybe you didn't fall in love with it like I did, but most people can look at an R6, especially of this generation, and be like, that thing's fucking nice. So that's kind of my take on a starter bike. You know, your average commuter under 18, you know, maybe even under 21. Nah, under 18. Get you a small starter bike. You know what I mean? Get you a little. I wouldn't say a 250, but get you a little 300, a 400, a 500. And if you're maybe a guy that, you know, might swim in traffic a little bit. You know what I mean? Nothing crazy. Might push his car a little bit. I can say an R7. The biggest difference between the R7, like the 700cc bikes that are coming out, and I say the R7 just because that's the one that I know the most, is basically they're a lot torqueier bottom end. So like, yeah, you can't go as fast, but like, there's really not that much room for error when it comes to throttle input, if that makes sense. Because like, I'm not gonna say you can loop it, but like, you definitely, like, it's possible. A lot easier than this thing. I mean, this thing you gotta like clutch up to get the wheel up, basically, unless you're like absolutely like hauling ass from like the start from like a low speed. But like, for the most part, you can get in a lot of the gears with this bike and hit it, and it's not gonna go anywhere. So, I mean, it's gonna move, but it's not gonna go up on you. Versus like the R7, the MT-07, MT-07, stuff like that. Like, that's why they're known for like wheeling and stunt bikes and stuff like that, because they're really torquey. So it's like you whip that throttle a little too hard at a point that you're not ready for, or that you're not supposed to. And I mean, it can fuck you up for sure. That's why, like, they're relatively good starter bikes for somebody that knows how to have throttle control. You know, somebody who's gonna like ease into the throttle. You know what I mean? Not just fucking. It's like, that's just gonna fuck you up every time. But yeah, guys, if this thing's still recording, that's the end of the video. Please like and subscribe. Turn off notifications, please. I'm fucking new to this shit. I don't even know this shit's still recording. But yeah, I love you guys. Peace.